There was a village where two brothers lived. The older one, Marcus, was known across 3 valleys. He could lift stones other men could not move. He won every contest at every harvest fair since he was 16. People stepped aside when he walked. Women pointed him out to their children. Men measured themselves against him and found themselves short. The younger one, Jonas, was ordinary. Medium height, medium build. He fixed tools, traded small goods, and was friendly with everyone in a quiet way that nobody remembered much. Their father died when Marcus was 28 and Jonas was 24. He left them one thing worth having, a mill beside a fast stream. Whoever controlled the mill controlled the grain of the whole valley. It was not a fortune. It was better than a fortune. It was permanent income. Marcus took it. Jonas did not fight him. Everyone agreed this was natural. The strong one gets the mill. That is how it works. Jonas left with a mule, and 40 coins. 10 years passed. Marcus ran the mill well. He was not cruel, but he was proud. He charged fair prices when he felt generous and higher prices when he felt strong, which was most of the time. Nobody argued. You do not argue with the man who grinds your grain. He married a woman from a wealthy family. He built a second room onto the house. He grew heavier in the way that powerful men grow heavier, as if the world was piling itself onto them as tribute. Jonas was gone so long that people in the village mostly forgot he existed. Then one morning a man rode into the valley on a good horse. He was dressed plainly, but the horse was not plain, and the 2 men who rode behind him were not plain either. He stopped at the mill and looked at it the way men look at things they are thinking about buying. Marcus came out wiping flour from his hands. The man on the horse said, "Are you Marcus?" Marcus said, "I am." The man said, "I am a land agent for a merchant company in the eastern city. We have been buying mills across this region. We will offer you 400 gold coins for this property." The stream writes, and the equipment. Marcus stood very still. 400 gold coins was more money than his father's father had seen in a lifetime. It was the kind of number that changes what a person thinks is possible. He said, "I need to think." The agent said, "We leave in 3 days." That night Marcus could not sleep. 400 coins meant he could move to the city, buy a real house, stop smelling like flour every day of his life. His wife had always wanted the city. His back hurt more than he admitted from years of hauling grain sacks. He told himself he deserved this. He had built the mill into something worth 400 coins. His strength, his years, his labor. He agreed the next morning. The agent paid him, took the papers, and rode away. 2 weeks later, Marcus arrived in the city with his wife, and his coins and his strong hands and nothing else. He quickly discovered that strength means something different in a city. There was no harvest fair, no valley full of men who had watched him since childhood, no reputation that arrived before he did. He was a wide man with flour in his history and 400 coins that were going in one direction only. He looked for work. He found it, but the work that fit his hands did not pay well, and the work that paid well did not fit his hands. He spent coins to live. He spent coins to feed his wife. He spent coins on things he did not understand the prices of because he was new, and people who are new get charged more. Cities have always known this. After 14 months, he had 110 coins left. His wife did not leave him, but she became quiet in a way that was worse than leaving. He was 40 years old, and he did not know what to do, which was a feeling he had never had before in his life. And it was enormous. He heard, through a man he worked with, that his brother Jonas had a trading company in this same city. This surprised him. Then it embarrassed him. Then he needed money badly enough that the embarrassment became smaller than the need. He found the address. It was a real building, not a palace, but solid and busy. with young men carrying ledgers in and out and a cart being loaded in the yard. He went inside and asked for Jonas. Jonas came out from a back room. He was not impressive looking. He was still medium height and medium build. He had some gray at his temples. He looked at Marcus with an expression that Marcus could not immediately name. He said, "Marcus, come in." They sat with wine and Jonas listened while Marcus explained briefly what had happened. Marcus was not a man who enjoyed explaining his failures. He did it in the fewest possible words, like pulling a splinter fast. When he finished, Jonas was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I will give you work. Good work, fair wages. I have a warehouse on the south side that needs a man I can trust." Marcus said, "I can do that." Jonas said, "I know you can." There was a silence. Marcus said, "How did you do this?" "You left with 40 coins and a mule." Jonas said, "I traded the mule for a boat ride east. I traded a small thing for a slightly larger thing. And again, and again. I made many mistakes. I learned from everyone. Nobody in the East knew that I was the lesser brother, so I did not act like him." Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I spent 30 years being the strongest man in the valley. I did not notice that the valley was very small." Jonas looked at him and said, "I noticed. That is why I left." Marcus worked for Jonas for 6 years. He was good at the work. Honest, hardworking, reliable. All the qualities he had always had, now pointed in a direction that actually went somewhere. He was not in charge. This was strange at first, then less strange, then simply true. One evening he asked Jonas, "Were you angry when I took the mill?" Jonas thought about it honestly before answering, which was something Marcus noticed he always did. He said, "For about a month. Then I understood something." Marcus said, "What?" Jonas said, "You taking the mill was the best thing that happened to me. I would have stayed. I was comfortable there. I knew everyone. I was your brother, which was a safe and small thing to be. You pushed me out of the only world I knew, and the larger world turned out to be where I actually belonged." Marcus said nothing. Jonas said, "The strongest man in a room is always the most trapped. Everyone else has a reason to get better. You had already won. Winning stopped you. The thing you are best at inside your comfort zone is the exact thing keeping you inside it. The person who is always the smartest in the room stops learning. The one who is always the strongest stops growing. The one everyone looks up to has the most to lose from leaving, so they never leave. And they call it success while the walls quietly close in. Being the best in a small place is not winning. It is a very comfortable trap. The ones who build real lives are usually the ones who left when they still had something to lose. Not because they were stronger, because they were honest enough to see how small the room was.